What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Buccaneers franchise. Before we get started, I just want to say I apologize if my voice sounds a little off or if there's like some rough edits in here. If you saw my post the other day, you know. If not, me and the family ended up getting COVID and still recovering from it, but feeling much better today. But the coughing and voice is still a little off, so apologize if it sounds a little off. But yeah, it's been a rough week, and I really wanted to get some recording done because I'm really falling behind here. And well, there's no better way to start off than with an off-season video. At least I don't have to yell and get super angry like I do in the game, so hopefully I can make it work. So, you know, bear with me. Hopefully my voice doesn't sound too crappy. I won't even realize it until I'm done recording this and start editing it. But so we ended up losing in the first round of the playoffs to the Falcons, and it is now time for our first off season. I can't say I'm too surprised. I feel like this team was sort of like the Texans were at first. The Texans, we made that first run and it sort of worked, but you just had a feeling that the team wasn't ready, and I feel like that's where the Buccaneers are right now. We just are not ready to take on contenders and make serious pushes yet. And I sometimes sort of wish we could have lost more games, so that way we at least be in a better position for the offseason, for the draft. But this is what we have to work with. We did see a lot of good stuff out of our players, so I'm excited to see what we can do this offseason to add to this team and to really try to build up some more of the youth that we have on this roster. So without further ado, let me go ahead and I'm going to sim to the Pro Bowl week. We'll check to see if we had anybody make the Pro Bowl roster, and then we'll get on to the offseason. Desmond Ridder ended up being QB1 for the NFC team, along with Jalen Hurts as QB2 and Bryce Young as QB3. What a weird world our franchise is right now. Now, I mean, obviously for Hurts, that makes sense, but for Ridder and Young to be the Pro Bowl quarterbacks, given what their real life counterparts are doing right now. AFC makes a ton of sense. Mahomes, Burrow, and Jackson. And then at running back, Rachaad White was the #1 running back. That is awesome. Look at that. Derrick Henry on the other side, Kenneth Walker and Aaron Jones, and then Jonathan Taylor, Joe Mixon. Chris Godwin made it for receiver. We have anybody else make it? I don't think we're going to have many others make it. Maybe somebody like Levante David. He had a good season, I think. Nobody on the D line. Devin White made it. Okay, I really thought David would make it over him. I guess White made more stat plays, whereas David seemed to be making more like just plays we saw play out on the field. You know, like big tackles or something like that, or rushing the passer. I guess, I don't know. I thought David would make it over him, but I'm not going to complain about it, that's for sure. And then in the secondary, we had nobody make it in the secondary. So overall, we had 3 players: Rachaad White, Chris Godwin, and Devin White all make it. All right, so we are now in the staff week. It looks like the Bills ended up beating the Cowboys in the Super Bowl, 23-17. Josh Allen was the MVP. And then on the side there, you see Patrick Mahomes ended up winning MVP, Zach Taylor, Coach of the Year. Mahomes was also Offensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald, Defensive Player of the Year. Rashee Rice from the Chiefs won Offensive Rookie, and Brian Branch of the Lions wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. Now let's take a look at the retirements now. So, Case Keenum, Jerry Hughes, Harrison Smith decides to hang it up. Let's see, Cameron Hayward. Trying to see if there's any notable people: Andy Dalton, Adam Thielen, Tyrod Taylor, Julio Jones, Trent Williams, Calais Campbell, Jason Kelsey hangs it up, Carlos Dunlap. Not too many players that are just like really not expected to retire, I guess. Let's keep going down, see if there's anybody that really shouldn't have retired that decided to. But everybody here looks pretty standard, you know. I mean, 11, 12, 13 years. Nobody decided to hang it up after like 6 or 7. Oh, Pete Carroll retired. That's interesting. All right. Now that we're in staff week, I mentioned to you guys before that I really want to, I think we need a new shakeup in the staff room. So let's first check out what happened around the league. So the Bears went ahead and they cleaned house. Matt Eberflus is out. I'm not too surprised to see that. Kevin Stefanski was fired from the Browns. Let's see, Brian Daboll fired. Pete Carroll, well, he retired, so he's not really fired. Ron Rivera was fired. So not a whole lot of head coaches being let go this year. I'm sort of happy that they fixed that. I don't know if you guys remember last year or even the last 2 years, it seemed that coaches would get fired immediately at the end of this. Like everybody, there would be so much shakeup in the coaching tree. So I'm sort of happy to see that it's not the case this year. And the ones that were fired sort of make sense. Eberflus, it's been a disaster for the Bears. Stefanski, even though he was decent with the Vikings and he had a good couple of seasons, he just really never panned out with the Browns. And you know, Daboll, the Giants having a good year last year, but haven't really done much since then. So it makes sense with the guys that were fired. So I'm not too surprised here. But that brings us to our room. And unfortunately, Michael Gray's time here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is over. We're going to let him go. It's time to bring in some new blood on the defensive side of the ball. I almost feel like I want to... I love Bob Bates because of the options that he runs, which the quarterback guru is huge. Secure the line, quick throws. I like that. I don't know if I want to clean house with both coordinators. I don't know, man. Maybe we do want to do that. Let's see what's available. Right, well, we can fire him. We'll just see what's out there, right? Maybe we find somebody better, maybe we don't. I don't know. But first, we're going to look at defensive coordinators, because that's been the biggest issue for us since we took over is our defense. I want to stick to a 3-4. I'm not too read up on the defensive playbooks out of the 3-4 yet, but I did see one comment, which I thank you for the comment, stating that they like Miami and New England. I've been looking around here, and honestly, I feel like maybe giving Miami's playbook a shot would work, the 3-4 storm type of scheme. Try to mix things up a little bit. Yeah, I'm not... So I know I don't want to go to a 4-3. So we know Sammy Rios is out of it. Buffalo runs a 4-3 with like a mixture of 3-4. It just doesn't work in this game. Not for the way I play anyway. No, 4-3. Charles Williams, 3-4 under out of the Jets. I don't think that's right, because I'm pretty sure the Jets run a 4-3. Am I not? I'm pretty sure they run a 4-3. Right? Yeah, 4-3. And if you look here at Jackson Pierce, he's got full blitz, zone secondary, and offensive line guru. So I feel like that hits on all of the areas on our defense. I mean, you have full blitz, but we know we'll get some boosts for our outside linebackers and our defensive ends. Zone secondary, it'll definitely help out our safeties and our corners with that, because a lot of the corners that seem to be coming out have a tendency to be man heavy, and the zone is lacking. So that might help us sort of rework that to where it's more balanced, at least until we can work up their ratings on their own. And then defensive line guru, we have a few guys on the line that are younger that could really benefit to having somebody that gives them extra talents. Plus, we're going to get 86 hiring points for bringing on Jackson Pierce. And I don't want to go Chicago's playbook. Clyde Holland, stacked box, zone secondary linebacker guru, blitzing linebackers. Okay, so that's not a bad one, but you also don't get the hiring bonus. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of Denver's defensive playbook. That's another 4-3, another 4-3. 3-4 under with them. Full blitz, defensive back guru, inside 3-4. That's not a bad one either. I'm gonna take a look and see what I find. Here's one, 3-4 storm, New England's playbook. Stacked box, man secondary, defensive line guru. I just don't know if I'd prefer that over... It's not really just about the playbook and the schemes anymore, because of they expanded this defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator stuff. So you really have to look and see what kind of stuff you really want to stack together. You know, do I want to have this defensive line guru with man secondary or stacked box, or would I rather have it with Jackson Pierce, who's got the defensive line guru, but he has zone secondary and full blitz, right? So that's sort of what I'm looking at here is what 3 trees do I want the most together? And then of course, does it also make sense for the scheme I'm trying to run? That one's another 4-3, another 4-3. And then there's Michael Gray. So he had defensive back guru 2nd level and inside 3-4. I'm really leaning towards Jackson Pierce. I think that might be a good one. We'll give Miami's defensive playbook a shot, see what that does, and hopefully we can get some stuff out of it. He doesn't have a lot of talents, but we will get 86 points for hiring him. So I would say let's give it a shot. All right, now I went out to the main menu and I'm looking at Miami's playbook here in the playbook section under the NFL logo on the main menu, just to sort of see what we can expect. So formations, we have 3-4, of course. We have odd, over, and under. So 3 sets there. We also have a 4-3 look, an even 6-1. I do like having that. Sometimes that can come in handy. So that'll come in. I'll like that. I'll be able to go into the formation subs and really put some stuff together. Dime, love having dime in a book. It looks like we also have one where we can bring in an extra safety with this, with the 2-3-6 here. Nickel, we have a 2-4. We have a double mug. Love the double mug. Really love the double mug. And then we also have a 3-3. Okay, I like that. This one also has the quarters formation, which can be really helpful when it comes to covering multiple receivers. We have 2 different sets under quarters. All right, so this is a really like a sort of a one-all be-all type of book. Let's see what the script is looking like. All right, so in a normal situation, so this is usually on like your 1st and 10s, like opening drive type situations. Looks like there's quite a few blitzes, and then cover 3/cover 6. This one actually is sort of everywhere. It's got, I mean, this first one here is a man blitz. This one is a cover 2 variant. So you got cover 3, cover 6, cover 1, a crossfire. I love this play, especially, man, imagine if we bring David back, him and White on a crossfire blitz. That could look really cool. Cover 1, more cover 3, Robert Press, free safety blitz, like that. Cover 4. So this one's got sort of everything in it. I like that. I'm also seeing some blitzing in here, which is good. There's some books that have literally no blitzing in their situational scripts here, and you can tell because you just don't see many blitzes happening. And then trips defense, cover 2 man, still blitzing Overstorm Brave. So this seems much more like a aggressive type of defensive book. I like it so far. And then in your standard nickel, still seeing a lot of blitzing. I really like what this is looking like so far. And you know, this is something you guys, I always stress people to do. If you're playing CPU versus CPU, go to the main menu, go to the NFL logo, go to the playbook, and just look at what is in the script. Now, is it going to follow this 100% every time? No, it is not. But it's going to tell you roughly what type of play selection you should see on a normal basis out of these playbooks. And you'll be really surprised with what some of the books you are using actually portray with the CPU play, right? And I'll show you what I mean. So right now I'm really liking this. We have a couple of nickel blitzes here, some safety blitzing, man blitz, zone blitz, a lot of blitzing in this situation, which I'd like to see. I also like to see the mixture. I don't want just like, there was some books like a year or 2 ago that was literally nothing but cover 3. Like the entire situation was just cover 3 variants. And it's like, yeah, of course, cover 3 is a very good defense, but obviously there's holes in it and it's predictable. This one, I'm seeing a lot of different types of stuff here. Zone blitzing out of cover 3, zone blitzing out of cover 2, some man stuff. Really like seeing that. So I think I'm gonna like this book. And this is sort of what I'm talking about. Look at this is our playbook, the Bucks playbook that we were just using. This is in situational awareness. This is in normal situation. Look at all of these cover 3s. It's just nothing but cover 3. Get a few cover 2s, 1 or 2, a cover 2 invert. So many. So it's going to call majority cover 1, which is man, which 1 high safety. I'm not a big fan of 1 high safety looks. It leaves too many things open. And then underneath it is just literally nothing but every cover 3 variant in the playbook. And then running on a nickel, nothing but cover 4, some cover 2 stuff. But one thing you're not seeing much in here at all is blitzing. I have not seen many blitz being called at all in this. So it just tells you, like, shows you What you're seeing is correct. We didn't do a lot of blitzing. Very few times did we actually send the linebacker on a blitz. When we did, it worked, but we just didn't see it very often. And now it's time to take a look at offensive coordinator role. Do we want to move on from the guy we have, which is way down here, Bob Bates, running our Tampa Bay book, or do we want to go with something different? Now, and you know, I've seen, trust me guys, I've seen all the comments, you know, Trey Lance, not the right playbook, all that stuff. I get it. I 100% agree. I know that the book that we're running was not 100% fit for Trey Lance. You still saw glimpses though of Lance's deficiencies and what he's good at. I don't think that all that stuff is going to be fixed just by fixing the playbook. I just don't, because we know his awareness is very low and we know that some of his other attributes are not up to par. But that doesn't mean I'm not willing to try something different either, you know? Now, with Rachaad White's success, I would almost like to try and get something that is going to be able to rely more on the run game and allow it to open up the passing lanes for Trey Lance. You know, like I don't want to go with a Vikings playbook, because the Vikings, they love to pass the ball all the time. We don't have the receivers for that. We have a good running back who just was named to the Pro Bowl. You guys know I'm obsessed with big running backs, and I have a few in the draft that I'm putting my eye on that I want to draft. So we know I want to run the ball. Now let's take a look at what our schemes are right now. Right now, our best scheme fit is our West Coast zone run. Most of our linemen are set up for agile running. A field general quarterback would be awesome. I know Trey Lance is not one, but the options for improviser and scrambler are not something that we're really in play for. West Coast power run, not the worst, but we need a power back. Lance is a true scrambler with field general as second. He's not an improviser. Our line would be at a disadvantage. Vertical zone run, I don't want to get into those kind of playbooks. Maybe they fix it this year, but I'm spurned from them in the last couple of Maddens. Multiple zone run is another option. We have a decent scheme fit for it. It would sort of fit what we're looking for. I don't want to go to power run. We could try spread, something that we could utilize spread with. That would really help with the spreading of, obviously, wow, how original, spreading of the offense, 3 or 4 receiver sets, allowing Trey Lance to sort of have the short game and also use his legs, work with most of our linemen as well. Yeah, so I'm thinking West Coast zone run, spread, or maybe something along the lines of a multiple book. That's what I'm thinking right now. But now that we have that information, let's take a look at the offensive coordinators. Right away, there's quite a bit of I-form, which I really like from the Las Vegas playbook, but that is going to be a power run, which I don't think is going to be our best bet right now. Brian Warner, which is the Carolina playbook. That one has a multiple zone run look. That one also would give us another 89 points, which would be really helpful for getting that initial start to the tree. I don't want to go back to a vertical zone run. That's with Detroit's book. And also we have to be looking at this too. So this multiple zone run, this has power running, run pass option, and receiver guru. And that run pass option might come in clutch for somebody like Trey Lance. But I would really like to find one that has the quarterback guru again, because that was going to be really helpful for us. I'm wondering how many. Okay, so Grant McDonald here, he has it, but he's running the Dallas book. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of the Dallas book right now. Quarterback guru here. Well, we're not running the West Coast playbook. That's a little weird. Somebody like Glenn Powers, who runs a West Coast spread, has quarterback guru, power running, and outside running. Now we wouldn't get any help on the line or on the receiving for the receivers, but we would have the quarterback guru, and it would definitely help both sides of our running game. We could also look at somebody like Will Hudson from the Browns, but no quarterback guru. If I really want to have QB guru, it's going to be slim pickings. We could try to go with like full on into Trey Lance and go the Baltimore book, but I don't know if that's going to work in our favor, especially with quarterbacks being able to get hurt. They're not prone to sliding this year. I just think that's going to end up being a very bad situation when it comes to injuries and fumbles. I mean, yes, I want Lance to be able to run, but I also don't want a book that is completely reliant on a running quarterback, because that's not going to get us where we need to go. I'm actually much more interested in Glenn Powers with the quarterback guru, power running, outside running, or maybe we just go back to what we were doing. I mean, we really can't. That's the thing. Our offense was good last year. That wasn't our issue. But if I'm going to give Trey Lance a legitimate shot at being the future quarterback, I have to get him somebody that can work with him, right? And we know that that playbook just did not work for him very well, which is why I'm doing this to begin with. I mean, I could just go back to Bob Yates and just pretend nothing ever happened, but I feel like that would be a disservice to him. Maybe it's a disservice to Rachaad White if I do that. But having a coordinator that runs the West Coast spread, has QB guru, power running, and open field moves, that was one that I touched on. If you look at this talent tree here, open field moves is going to give you short route running for receivers and halfbacks. And then you can do juke move, change of direction for either halfbacks or wide receivers, spin, agility, and acceleration at the bottom here. And then we would have power running, which of course is, you know, lead block, trucking, you know, all that stuff. Oh man, this is tough. Or what I could do, like, let's see Bob Bates here. If we bring back Bob Bates, we are getting awareness for receivers. We can get short route, release, catch in traffic, pass blocking. So secure the line is going to be good. I feel like Bob Bates is our best bet here. I really do. But we're going to have to change our playbook. But we'll keep Bob Bates on. We'll see if he can run a different playbook. And I like his role here. I really do. I think that the quick throws, secure the line, and quarterback guru is what we need. So we'll pretend we never fired Bob Bates. Okay? Sorry, Bob. Sorry. Didn't mean to fire you. It was an accident. So we have 110 points. Most of this really needs to be put on the D coordinator because he has nothing. Whereas Bates, we've worked on all season, and even Bowles here, he's got some good stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and get all of this stuff started here. So for him, we have full blitz, which is gonna give us acceleration to outside linebackers or speed for corners. And we have strength for safeties and corners or strength for middle linebackers. Finesse moves for outside linebackers or finesse moves for free safeties. Power moves for strong safeties or power moves for middle linebackers. So I think it's pretty safe to say we want the left side here for him. So we're going to go ahead and unlock that right away. Get that started. And then for zone secondary, acceleration for free and strong safeties or for corners. Play recognition for free and strong safeties or for corners. Jumping for either one. Zone coverage for either one. And then catching for both. Oh man, this is actually pretty tough because both of them could really benefit from this. But what's going to be the bigger issue for us? Is it going to be corners or safeties? And I feel like Winfield has already really proven himself. Yes, we need to bring another safety on because I don't think what's his name wants to sign with us, Ryan Neal. I think it would be best to do for safeties. The reason for that is we have Izian. Golly, I can't say his name correctly to save my life. We're trying to build him up. We're thinking of trying to bring a safety in. We don't know what Ryan Neal's plan is. He's been telling us no the entire season. We have 2 quality corners right now. Hell, 3 actually, if you count Duke Shelley. His overall isn't there, but he's been playing really well for us. So I think I'm going to do this on the free safety side for both of our safeties. And that way we have zone coverage, jumping, play recognition, which is huge for safeties, and acceleration. I think this is a good play. So we're going to go there. And then we want to make sure I get 1 from every one. So we're going to decide here. This is for defensive line guru. Boost tackle for defensive ends. Boost hit power for defensive ends. Boost acceleration for defensive ends. Block shedding for... Oh man, this is a tough one here. Strength, speed, stamina. I think we want to go with the right side here because we have a 3-4 line. We don't have a 4-3 line. That tackling is great, obviously, but acceleration and speed for our DNs and tackles is not as important as strength and block shedding. So I think we're going to go right side here. All right, we have all sides chosen now, and now we just have to I think I'm going to go right there. Perfect. So that's down to 14. I don't think we can spend them anywhere else. My gosh, I have none of this chosen yet. Yeah, I think everything is pretty much tapped out now. We'll have to wait until we get more points. We're getting there. We're getting there. But it is going to be a long process, which is why I chose to do this. I don't want to have a stacked staff from day one. So I think the defense has a good boost now to start things off. We have our offensive coordinator who's been working with Trey Lance all season. We're going to keep feeding that and seeing if we can adjust to a new playbook. And yeah, so right away I can see that Trey Lance has actually gained star development from the season that he had, which is awesome to see. On defense, though, things got better for us. It looks like Devin White, with his Pro Bowl appearance, moved up to superstar development. And now looking at the biggest situation here is Lavonte David and his regression, who he ended up losing quite a bit. He lost a total of 25 attribute points, 1 to change of direction, 3 to zone, 2 to excel, 6 to tackle, 2 to speed, 4 to pursuit, 2 injury, 4 block shed, and 1 agility. It's just going to be whether or not he wants to come back under the right price. I might have to look into restructuring a deal or two. I don't want to do that too often, but this year especially it feels almost necessary. I could try to restructure Vita Vea's contract. If I did that, it would free up 9.95 million in cap space and then put it over the next 2 seasons, 4.97 respectively each year. And I think that might be the move. I don't want to move on from Vita Vea, but his contract is very sizable. And honestly, that's the only one I could find that I could restructure at this point. Obviously that'll change as we get more contracts going on, but for right now, at least that saves us $10 million. So we'll stick with that. All right, now with us having 30 million in cap room, it gives us a lot more wiggle room in negotiations and also in free agency. So the first person here is Ryan Neal. Now, his interest is high, which confuses me even more as to why he gave us such a hard time during the regular season, because if you look here, I offered him much more earlier this season and he refused it. Right now he's asking 3 years, 20.7 mil, just shy of 7 a year. The deal I gave him was 8 mil a year and he said no. So I don't understand what his issue is with signing this contract. But I think what I'm going to do is maybe the scheme fit was a big portion of it, right? Like maybe that was why he wasn't very happy with the way we were playing football. Maybe the new scheme will change his mind, but I'm just going to stick to my guns here. I think that I'm overpaying him at this point. Yes, he played very well, but I can't go back on the offer, right? We've already offered him this 24 million. I can't go back and offer him something different. So we're just gonna make the same offer again. If he takes it, great. If not, we're gonna have to bring in a safety for sure. And he takes it now. Or maybe he just didn't think we'd actually go through with changing things and that would make him more of a fit for this team. So there we go. So that actually helps us tremendously because that's one less position we have to worry about in free agency and definitely in the draft. Now it's on to Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. I don't want to accept his option. I don't think he has earned a 5th-year option contract because that is $10 million. So I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to reject his offer. We'll still have him for the season, but you know, he's going to have to earn it, right? Because it just hasn't been good. Lavonte David is a big part of this defense. I know he's older. He's 34. I just don't think I can go without having Lavonte David on this defense. I really don't think I can. Now, the other question, the other side of this is going to bring down our remaining cap significantly, down to 11.2 million. Is there a lot of other free agents? Not necessarily, but I think I have to. Let's see if he'll take it. I'm not going to give him more than this. If he wants to take 11.2, great. Otherwise, we're just not going to do it. He does. Awesome. So David's going to stay with the team. We have our linebacker tandem for yet another season. I'm also going to have to decline Trey Lance's 5th-year option too. I cannot afford to pay him $30 million, and he's definitely not earned that yet. So we're going to reject that as well. James Robinson, I'm not interested in bringing him back. I mean, he stole some touchdowns, but he didn't really provide much value. I'm going to let N'Keal Harry test. I'm going to let Baker Mayfield hit the market. I don't know. I don't see the point in bringing him back at $24 million over 3 years. I'd like to bring Sean Tucker back. Let's see if we can come to a resolution with him. I'll offer him a 1-year deal for 2.7. That's just over his asking price. Oh, he wants to test free agency. What the hell, man? Well, that didn't go the way I thought it would. Shoot. Well, I'm not going to flip and franchise tag him, that's for sure. I guess we'll have to just go the free agency route and see if he'll re-sign that way. Keyshawn Vaughn. No, I'm not interested in bringing him back. Honestly, probably need to, considering how bad our luck has been along the offensive line. Hope that he'll take this, 2.5. Dang, he doesn't want to come back either. Okay. Cam Gill. I can't give him a contract, man. He's 26, 64 overall. That 1.3 can be better spent somewhere else. So yeah, we're gonna have to let him walk. The Adrian Senate, I can't pay him $3.5 million. I just can't do it. He played well for us, but that's just too much right now. No, there's no point in bringing our tackles back. No point in bringing Pinter back. Filer now down to a 72. I'm gonna see what's available in free agency. William Golston, I'm also going to see what's available in free agency. Nope. Brent Urban, sorry. No. Maybe if he just takes this minimum deal, I'll bring him back. I'll just offer him this. Okay. So literally nobody wants to come back. And the ones that I don't know if they want to come back, I don't want to bring back. So this is going to be a pretty big changeover for this offseason. We're only going to have... what, 11 million to work with? We are going to be in some potential trouble here. Okay, so before we get to the free agency, I definitely need to see who is all on these big money contracts. One person in particular that I think we might have to move on from is Shaquille Barrett. The reason for that is we have Jermaine Johnson here. I can plug him in Barrett's spot, and he is taking up a huge chunk of our money. And outside of him only being 77 overall at this point and 31, his availability has gone down the drain. He missed so much time this year, was injured what seemed like every other game he was getting injured. We just cannot afford to give him that much money. So I'm going to go ahead and we are going to release Shaquille Barrett into free agency. That just freed up a lot of space for us. There's going to be some people that have some dead money, but if we can get rid of some players, like look at right here. Russell Gage, he's 28, 77 overall. He didn't play too well for us. He had a couple of good plays, right? A few good plays. But overall, is he worth $13 million on this roster? Or can I allocate that money elsewhere? Given how tough we are having it right now with cap space, I would rather restart at the receiver position altogether. So I'm going to go ahead, and we're also going to cut Russell Gage Jr. There we go. All right, let's take a look around on this team now that we've gone through with all of the changes, right? We know Godwin and Palmer. Palmer is going to be somebody in the future, man. I'm telling you guys this. You've seen the flashes. He can be good. We just need to surround him with some talent, allow Lance to grow into a quarterback, and we should be good to go. Godwin is a true number one. We have our number one receiver. We need a third and fourth, essentially. Our line, we have Jensen, we have Wirfs. Both of them have had issues with injuries this year. We're going to hope that was a one-time thing. Regardless of that, though, Jensen is up there in age, so we do need to start looking for a replacement at center. The right side of our line right now, not good. I can go by with Hainsey. I'm okay with that. He's actually a center, I believe, but he's playing guard. I don't know if he's guard or center, but either way, he's a 75. We can use that if need be. But we need a right tackle. So right tackle, tight end, a future center, a 3 and 4 at wide receiver. We need running backs. On defense, it says Diaby's up there, but I'm going to slide Johnson up there. I just didn't change his position yet. So Johnson will be here at outside linebacker. I'm pretty sure I'm bringing in competition for Tryon Shoyinka. Whether that's through the draft or free agency, I don't know yet. I would like to bring in somebody new along the defensive line. Logan Hall just has not developed the way I was hoping he would. And he really didn't make much noise at all for us. Now, a lot of these players are going to stay because, hey, maybe it was the playbook that was doing us in so dirty. But we need to bring in some new people for sure. So the defense is going to be a big part of it, but we also have some skill positions that we really need to fix up. So let's go and check out free agency. All right, so here we are. We have 38.2 million in cap room after the restructures and the cuts. And we have a lot of decisions to make here. Now, right off the bat, before we even get into anything, I don't want to have to spend a lot of big bucks on players. Now, if I see somebody that I think is a definite, you know, long-term answer, and we don't have to get into who's got a deeper pocket type of battle, we'll go for it. But right now, we have Trey Lance. Do we want to bring in a different quarterback to back him up? Right? Honestly, this might be a good move for us. Bringing in Tyler Huntley. He would be a decent QB too. And he would be relatively similar and have that scrambling ability like Lance does if it comes down to running a book that has more scrambling tendencies. He's much younger than Mariota as well. And he's only 1 overall difference, which is a plus. He actually has interest in signing here. It says close to home from Florida. Not sure why, considering his college was Utah. If you guys can let me know, maybe he's from Florida before he went to college. I don't know. But that's a good opportunity for us to potentially bring him in. So one of our first areas that we really need to look at is tight end. Is there somebody in the tight end pool that we could bring in that can shore us up at that position? While there are no options here that could be potential like starters for us, but we could get some depth, which is much better than what we have right now. I do like Payne Durham though. I feel like he filled in nicely, even though his overall is rather low. So if it was up to me, I'd probably try to find somebody that's a little bit younger, maybe a little bit less on the overall range. So that way we can keep options open, right? But we also need to upgrade there. I would like to not have to go into the season with Caden Otten being without having Otten being the starting tight end. But that's really only going to happen through the draft or a trade, which I just don't see me making. I don't see the point in of us trading for a tight end. And then we move on to tackles. Is there a tackle that we can bring in that would slide in to be a starter for us? The first person, Isaiah Wynn. The only problem is he doesn't fit with our system though, and I don't know if we want to go too far against it, especially with a tackle. This guy I think is more of a power-based type of tackle. Josh Jones might not be a bad move. Oh, let's see if there's anybody at the right side. Oh, there's Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele is an option. However, the issue here is that his worst grade or attribute is his pass block finesse, which is a little difficult when you are trying to run more of a West Coast spread type of offense. So that's tough. And then once you go behind him, it sort of just drops off a cliff here. Is there anybody else here that could potentially slide in? And honestly, I think a guy like Josh Jones might be the best option for us because he's going to be cheaper. Yes, he's not, 24, but he's only 27. He's a 74 overall. He's a scheme fit. This might be a good play for us. He has no offers right now, so I don't think we need to make an offer on him right now. I would love to bring in a guy like Cesar Ruiz, but it doesn't look like he wants to sign with us. And he's strictly power, it looks like. He's not very balanced in that regard. But that would take one big thing off of our plate. He's got, let's just see what he would cost. Like, what would it cost for us to try and bring him in? He has very low interest. Very low interest. I'm going to go 2 years, 16 million. That's 8 million a year. Where does that put us? Well, that puts us in the top consideration with the Lions. Okay. We're competing with Detroit, though, because he went to Michigan. So that's his hometown team, I'm assuming. I don't think it's worth it. You know, I don't know. Yeah, let's just withdraw the offer there. All right, so far we haven't really been able to find any big, like, ticket free agents at all. Like, at any of the positions we really need. So let's move on to the defensive line and see what we can find here. I don't see very good stuff so far. A lot of older aging veterans. I don't even see scheme fits. So first scheme fit is Leonard Floyd at 31. Doesn't seem to be too many people on the inside, which I would like to move outside. So like somebody like Poona Ford, he would definitely need to play nose tackle. Same with Michael Pierce. Frankie Luvu could be a big addition for us. He's 27, superstar development. He's an 80 overall or 81 overall. And honestly, I mean, we played against him with the Carolina Panthers. That's where he was last year. And he was making plays against us. He had a pretty good season. I think he even made the Pro Bowl. I would like to offer him a contract. He's got 8 people interested. Let's see what it would take for us to bring him in. So he wants a 3-year deal worth $30 million. I say we up this. Make it $33 million. So $11 million a year average. Okay, so we have a green offer strength, but we're not even close. The Rams and Falcons have it maxed out. I just want to see what it would take for us to get in the hunt with him. I have a feeling it would take a huge contract option of friendly. Oh, so he wants the extra year. I think that's what's going on. He wants the 4th year. And if I just do the player friendly option, that may get him here. I think I'm going to offer that to him. That would be a big find for us after just releasing Shaquille Barrett. I mean, then what I would do is I would have him on one side, probably on his position here, left outside linebacker. I would move Jermaine Johnson over to the right side, and it would be essentially a battle between Johnson, Tryon Shoyinka, and if we bring anybody else in through the draft. And whoever wins the job wins the job. And now we can take a look at the secondary. I would love to add one more person to our secondary. It doesn't have to be a superstar type of corner, but I would like somebody younger because we are approaching the 28 mark. I think they're both 28 or 27. Essentially what I'm saying is both of our corners right now are on the other side of 25, right? And I do want to try and draft somebody, but we need people for it in the meantime as well, because Duke Shelley is only one man. So can we bring in a 4th? I could try and go after Isaiah Rodgers Sr. He's got really high interest in us. He fits our scheme. He's really fast, which is something that I really like. And he's only 26. And then we also have Christian Fulton down here, who is not as fast, not a scheme fit. Yeah, I just feel like this is a much better move. Let's see if I can get him on some serious stuff here. 3 years, 16.2. That's not a bad contract offer. And we're the only person, we're the only team offering him right now. I've got to put this offer out there. It looks like he wants to be a Buck. Now, Donovan Peoples-Jones, that could be a good play, but he has absolutely no interest in coming to Tampa. Apparently he wants to play in Michigan. Not sure why. I mean, yeah, I know you're from Michigan, but I mean, it's pretty cold up there. I think the palm trees and stuff down here are a little bit more comfortable, but you know, each their own. We don't have a mentor at the position. He feels he needs one of those. There's 2 offers in on the table. Let's just see what the offers look like if I just do a neutral offer, which is 3 years, 24.6. Okay, so we're not even sniffing it. So we're gonna have to go away from him. Let's see what else is down here on the list. I don't think we're gonna do ourselves any services by bringing in somebody who's already 28 or 29. I don't want Chase Claypool. Oh man, I don't even want to try to have what he's doing to the teams that he plays potentially happen in this world. Quez Watkins, however, is an interesting player. Apparently he's not a huge fan of our situation, but he's got 97 speed and nobody else is even offering him a contract right now. He's 26 years old. That might not be a bad play. Laviska Shenault Jr., formerly of the Panthers as well. KJ Hamler. Seems to be quite a few receivers available right now. I'm liking it. There isn't a lot of great options when you're looking at overall end age, but there are a lot of options. So maybe we can't get the best group in the first year, but that's fine. So let me go back up here. I still think that I go after Quez Watkins. I think that just makes too much sense. The speed, the overall, the age, it just makes too much sense. Let's just offer him a neutral deal and see what happens here. We end up being the top offer, of course, because we're the only team offering. But that's not a bad deal, you know? I mean, we're not offering him a crap contract or something like that. Well, also, let's see if we can get Sean Tucker back, because for some reason he wanted to be a little punk. Where is he? Here he is, Sean Tucker. Get your butt back here, dude. Why are you acting extra? Like, we're the only team that is willing to bring you on. And let's go here and let's offer up a contract to Tyler Huntley. Here we go. We have all 5 offers on the table. Here is our targets. Frankie Luvu, that would be our big ticket fish of the offseason. Isaiah Rodgers Sr., another big ticket. Quez Watkins, great role player, I think, for us. Tyler Huntley, great second option for Trey Lance if we're really going to dive into what can Trey Lance do for us. And Sean Tucker, bringing him back because he wanted to be a punk in the re-sign state. I'm okay with this. The free agency pool isn't that great, so I get it. Let's go ahead and let's do the eval period and see what happens. Okay, so 4 players of the 5 have made a decision. Now, did we get them? We got all 4, guys. We got all 4. We get Frankie Luvu. We got Isaiah Rodgers, Quez Watkins, and Tyler Huntley. That is a great first wave of free agency. Luvu instantly changes our defensive front. That's a great signing for us. Rodgers solidifies our corner spot. We are solid there. I like the addition of Quez Watkins. Him, Godwin, and Palmer will be decent options for now. And Huntley really just narrows down our quarterbacks, and now we have 2 guys that are very similar. So if something happens to Lance, we know we can rely on Huntley to still be able to create the same stuff anyway that Lance can do with his legs. And let's just take a quick peek at some of the big names that have signed. So Mike Williams is going to the Panthers, so we will be seeing him a lot more. A good signing for Bryce Young. Michael Pierce to the Lions. Adrian Amos going to the Eagles. Jordan Brooks to the Texans. I would have loved to take a guy like Jordan Brooks, but it just didn't make sense to bring him on when we just brought Levante David back. You know, it just didn't make sense. Donovan Peoples-Jones, he goes to his hometown, the Detroit Lions. Grant Delpit is going to Minnesota. Damian Lewis going to the Texans. Cesar Ruiz also going to the Lions. So a lot of hometown guys going back home to the Lions. They're putting together a decent team this offseason. Antonio Gibson going to the Vikings. That's interesting. Christian Fulton going to the Panthers. Bridgewater going back to the Vikings. What? That's crazy. All right. So that is the main targets. Now we have Sean Tucker still on our list. He's still trying to be a punk, but we have 4 more options that we can try and look at. So we know quarterback's good. Josh Jones is still sitting here. He has no offers yet. I figured that now is a good time for us to offer him a contract. If I can bring him in and slide him over to right tackle, I think that at least puts together enough of our line to move us through this season at least. So let's offer him up a contract. and he actually looks like he wants to be here, so that's awesome. And then I'm also going to offer a contract to Donald Parham Jr. He's a very big target at tight end, 6'8". He's a 69 overall. So is he going to be a guy that's going to eventually take everything over? No, but he will add some good depth to us while we search for our starting tight end in the draft. And honestly, that's all we really have the room for financially. We're already down to 1.3 left, and that's if these guys all decide to sign with us. So I think it's a good time for us to go ahead and do the eval offer again and see if we get the guys we're looking for. All right, so Josh Jones decided to sign with us. That's big. That shores up our line, but Tucker and Parham still deciding on whether or not they want to. So we're just going to run it again. Okay, Parham decided, and he signed with us. Dude, is there something wrong with you, man? Why are you not signing with us? What is the deal? All right, since we don't have a lot of money left, right? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to withdraw the offer from Sean Tucker. I'm going to go back to available. We're going to go down to Sean Tucker. So instead of this, I'm going to go up $100,000. No, 200,000. We'll make it a solid 3 million. Instead of 2.6, I'll give you 3 million for this 1-year deal. That should make things a little bit easier for you to decide on, right? Yeah, now it's green. Now it's green. All right, so I advanced, and we finally have Sean Tucker back on the team. He stopped crying about $200,000 and signed. Great. The last thing I need us to do is I really need to bring in, I would say, another receiver. Doesn't have to be a great receiver, but just somebody else to fill out the room, because right now things are just not looking very good. So I'm thinking let's look to like the 70 to 73 range, find somebody that's interested so we don't have to do a lot of overbidding, and see if we can, you know, fill a spot here on the team. I think I'm going to try to offer Bo Melton. He's 25, 70 overall. He's got decent speed. Oh wow, we can't even afford him. This is great. This is awesome. Yeah, this is awesome. So happy. Team friendly. I can barely offer him anything. This is insane. I'll offer him this low of an amount to see if he even tries to accept it, but I doubt it if he will. Yeah, I doubt it. We're the only team offering, so maybe we'll get lucky. Okay, well, did he sign with us or did he sign somewhere else? Okay, we got him. It only took 4 thinking periods for him, but we brought him in. So we get him on a really cheap deal. All right, guys, so at the end of our free agency, this is what the roster looks like as of now. So Rachaad White and Sean Tucker are our only 2 running backs. At wide receiver, we have Godwin, we have Palmer, we have Watkins, and we do have Bo Melton. I just haven't put him in the depth chart quite yet. We have Donald Parham as our second tight end. Jones is moved over to right tackle. So here is our line going into the draft. And then on defense, I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I have Luvu starting at outside linebacker in his natural position. He made it to a Pro Bowl there for a reason. And then I moved Jermaine Johnson over to this side. And essentially what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to have these 2 guys play it out and just see what happens, right? What can we see? Can Jermaine Johnson overtake that role? We saw some good stuff out of him last year towards the end of the season. And Tryon Shoyinka just really hasn't jumped off the tape very often. So one of those 2 will end up winning that job, or maybe somebody else that we bring in. I don't know what the draft holds quite yet, but I'm excited to see what we can find. We also have Rodgers here along with Shelley. I'm gonna have a really hard time not having Shelley as our starting nickel, to be very honest with you guys, but Rodgers is the better corner. We'll give him an opportunity to win that job, but it's going to be a competition for Shelley and Rodgers to see who wins the nickel starter. Outside of that, I'm sort of happy where things are at right now. I feel more comfortable going into the draft, and I don't feel as stuck taking a certain position. So this was the last mock draft that just dropped last week. So it's got Lonnie Tate going number 1 overall. So immediately, as much as I loved what Tate showed, there's no way we can get it, right? Danny Mason, same there. We're not going to be able to get into the top 3, period. So these 3 players are for sure off of our board. As much, I hate to say that, but it's just the truth. I am also a little surprised to see Jamario Weathersby so high up on this list, considering there's another quarterback ahead of him. I believe it's Denzel Pierman. Where is he? They not have him going at all? I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of players going way farther up than I thought. Like, looking at my list and looking at this list, a lot of these players are going way higher. Like McCoy, I see going top 5. It makes sense, even though we know his talent is not a top 5 talent. He's the top quarterback. Michael Lampman, I don't know where these guys are going to fall sometimes within their projections, but he ends up going top 5 along with Jamario Weathersby, who is not even close to, I think he's the 3rd quarterback. I went through this so much. Like, I spent probably 2 hours. This was, of course, off recording. I wasn't recording when I did this. It was just, it took me so long. I think I sat here for like 2.5 hours just looking at the prospects list and going through stuff. And this is the list that I have come up with for where I rank players. So this isn't going to match their list. Maybe you guys have seen some of these players. You're like, I don't know if I really agree with your placement of him here, but this is what I see. I see Lonnie Tate as a top 5 pick. I see him as the best player in this draft class. He's got so many A's, it's almost impossible to not put him up there. I have Taylor Wharton up above Danny Mason, though they were very similar in the combine, but there was some attributes that I saw from Wharton that makes me feel that he is the better player. Not saying Mason's not good, but something tells me about Wharton that he's good enough to be number 2. He's 21, 4.38 40 at the combine, 4.33 college pro day. So he's top 5, top 3 area for average, I guess. But his skills is what got me. He's got A short route, B's in catching traffic, catching, release, and deep route. He's got A to C in medium route, spectacular catch, awareness, ball carrier vision. And then with Danny Mason, he's 1 year older. He's actually much slower. Everything else is pretty comparable, but his 40-yard dash is nowhere near what Wharton's is. And then just looking at what I have unlocked, he's got a lot of potential A's and C's. We know that. But we know his catching traffic is a C. There's just some things on here that I'm like, I just don't know which one I like more. So I went with the guy that's younger and faster over Mason because he has, from what I see, better attributes for what we know right now. Will it be that way once we get to the draft? I don't know. But from my eyes, Mason is the wide receiver 2 for me, so which is why I have Wharton up here at number 2. Colin Good, really good right tackle prospect. A awareness, that leapt off the page to me right away. I have him here at 3 because tackles are hard to come by. I also have Spencer Metcalf really high on this list because he also has really comparable stuff to that of Lonnie Tate. He has some really good attributes. Wyatt Callan, again, left tackles are hard to come by. I had Joseph McCoy way down here at 7. I didn't put him in top 5 because obviously we know he's not top 5, but he's also a quarterback, so I didn't want to put him too far down the list. And I have Dalton Isaac up here at my 9th position. I have Denzel Pearson at 10th. Michael Lampman down at 11th. So obviously I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Or maybe I do and these teams are stupid. I don't know. We'll find out. Jamario Weathersby, I had 12. Jordan Williams, we see going earlier. There's just a lot of players that I have down here that I'm just not sure if we're going to get a chance to go after that I was hoping to, because we're way back at like pick 22. So we're way back here by like Jamie Roper and Marcus Hood that I have. But now after seeing this, you know, like if we're looking at the top 32 players here, this is my list, the way I see it. I mean, a lot of those guys look like they're going to be gone already. So right off the bat, we know Tate and Mason are gone. McCoy's gone. Lampman is gone. Weathersby, Good, Williams, Martin. I didn't have that high on my list, but if you need a D tackle, he's the second best D tackle you have. Spencer Metcalf going at 9. Deke Mack here at 10. Dalton Isaac going at 11. Taylor Wharton not going until 12. Now, this is the first spot where I'm seeing, like, do I want to make a move? Because if I really feel that Taylor Wharton is the best receiver ahead of Danny Mason, and he's going to fall to 12, that's not a huge leap to go to from our pick here at 21. Right now, it has us taking Howie Hawkins because that is the next guy available on my list when it goes down it. It does not appear to be that many players that we're going to be able to go after that I have high on my list. I mean, okay, so let's go back to 12 here. So Wharton going at 12, Polk going at 13, Douglas, Perryman, Page, Allen, Truman, Wilcox and Roper all going before we pick at 21. And if we're going with that, we have Howie Hawkins, Dion Bolden, Romeo Singleton, Nick Cunningham, Mike Gibson, Dom Warner, Carlos Dunbar, TJ Valentine. We don't have a lot of great options, you know, compared to what we could have. If I'm going to make a move to get somebody higher up on this list, I think it would be a move for Taylor Wharton if the draft goes this way. If he falls to 12, man, I just don't know if I would be able to pass him up at that point. Because I think he's a top 5 player in this draft. I have him as number 2. We have a lot of options here. But honestly, with the players available here, I would probably try to trade down. If we don't move up, I think I'm trading down. Because if we lose out past Jamie Roper, I mean, the player caliber that's left for what I'm seeing right now is nothing that is that insane. I would rather fall back, get some more picks, because we don't have the most picks either. I mean, we're not even working with a full 7 if I remember correctly. So there's a lot of options on the table here. It's going to really come down to if I can make a move and if it's not too detrimental to the team to be able to move up. And we'll see what that's looking like. And the last thing we get to take a look at before we get to the final review of the draft class is the private workouts. So let's see who I want to learn more about. So I'm gonna go straight to my favorites list. Because he's falling, I should try to spend a point on him, because I can unlock him fully and I can know, is this guy top 5? If he is, that just increases the likelihood that I'm gonna try and trade up for him. And then let's go down the list here and let's say that he's not available. Who else could I look at here? I think I'm gonna have to choose at least one person that I'm not gonna be able to fully unlock, but somebody that is definitely someone that I want to look more at. All right, so these are the 3 players that I came up with. Taylor Wharton first, because I need to know if he's worthy of trading up. And then I'm gonna do tight end James Blake, who is the 3rd tight end, the guy right behind Dwayne Albert. And then I'm going to do Taquan Samuel, the running back that I've had my eye on this entire offseason, because I want to see, I saw some stuff in James Blake that makes me think he might be on the same level as Albert, and I want to get a better picture of them both together. So we're going to go this route and try and see if we can find a good tight end. Okay, so we are in the final week. Well, we are actually in the week of the draft. I just haven't started the draft yet. I want to go into college players, see what we've unlocked, and then I also want to just go through some more prospects to get a better understanding of where I want to target depending on, you know, where the draft lands. First, I want to look at that. Taylor Wharton is a top 5 talent. Top 5 talent. Okay, let's see what his final ratings are here. Wow. Okay, so he's got A's in awareness, ball carrier vision, short route, spectacular catch, and medium route. And then he has B's in break tackle, catch in traffic, catching, release, stamina, and spin move, and deep route. C's in injury, juke, run block, kick return, and stiff arm, and a D with carrying. That is some really, really good stuff. There's a lot of A's, a lot of B's. I love the B release. Release seems to be the thing that's the hardest to get with receivers, especially younger receivers. Okay. Wow, so he might really be a guy that we have to make a move. All right, now let's take a look at Taquan Samuel. Now we got him up to 90%. Not fully, but 90%. He's 21, 6'1", 230 pounds. I know you guys remember me talking about him. 8th and 6th in the 40-yard dash between NFL and the Pro Day. Skills-wise, he has A's in awareness, ball carrier vision, break tackle, carrying, stiff arm, B in trucking. So pretty much everything we need to know about him, he's good at. He can't run routes. I don't care about that. We know his injury is no less than a C, which is big. He can't juke, which is fine. We don't need him for that. And for a 3rd or 4th round projection, I would easily try and probably take this guy late 2nd, early 3rd. Early 3rd. And now it's on to Dwayne Albert and James Blake. So the reason I did this is because I saw a couple of statistics that made me think that James Blake is actually really good. So for Dwayne Albert, we know he's 22 years old, 6'6", 252 pounds. He's top 3 in 40-yard dash, 3-cone, and the 20-yard shuttle. So very agile tight end, very agile. Skills-wise, we know his awareness is A, carrying, catching traffic is an A, short route is an A. His medium route is B. We don't know much about the rest of it, but we do have a pretty good idea. Spectacular catch, no worse than a B. Same with pass block, deep route running, trucking, run block finesse, all B's at the very worst, if not A's. So could be a lot of A's. James Blake is pretty much the same exact build, same age and everything. But this man is first in 2 categories, 40-yard dash and 20-yard shuttle. Not as good in the 3-cone, but he's first in 2 different categories. He has elite in speed and agility. Then looking at his skills, he's got A, awareness, A, short route, A, catching traffic, B, catching, C, deep route, B, medium route, B, impact blocking. And looking at some of the other ones, he has no worse than a B in carrying, pass block, stamina, stiff arm, trucking. No worse than a C for injury. I just really liked his spread, and then I really liked seeing that he was very relatively similar to Dwayne Albert, but was a couple of ticks faster. And I want a freak athlete at tight end. So we really can't go wrong with either one of these options, and there are later projections, so we can try and steal one of these guys in the later parts of the draft. Okay, now knowing what we know, I think it's safe for us to start removing some players. Like, I know for a fact we're not going to land Lonnie Tate, right? So I'm just going to remove him from my favorites list. We know we're not landing Danny Mason. We know we're not landing Joseph McCoy. We know we're not landing Jamario Weathersby or Jordan Williams or Michael Lampman or Dalton Isaac or Colin Good or Wyatt Callan. We're moving a lot of players. Spencer Metcalf is going super early. Quandre Martin, we know, is going super early. I think that's most of the players that I was completely wrong about. We could also now see the final mock draft. So what things are looking like now after everything is said and done, and the top 3 are still the same. Tate, Mason, McCoy. Good still going at 4. Weathersby going at 5. Callan going at 6. Williams at 7. Martin at 8. Metcalf at 9. Mack at 10. Isaac at 11. And Wharton at 12. Now, Michael Lampman did do quite a bit of sliding now. He is all the way down to 15th. Still not somebody that's going to be a target of ours because I'm not trading up for him. If anything, I'm trading up for, like I said, Taylor Wharton, because now especially we know he's a top 5 talent. But not a whole lot has changed outside of that. The question I have is, will we be able to make a move with the Patriots, and will they want to make a move with us? Right? That's the question. If they have their eyes set on a wide receiver, do they know that he's a top 5 talent like we do? I'm just going to stick to the favorites because I feel like I've done a really good job of going through all of the positions and adding the favorites to them. So I have 6 quarterbacks total on this list. Left, of course, after taking off the other guys. Denzel Pearson, who's a round 1 projection. Dalton McCoy. Dontrell Samuel. Those are only 3 that are draftable. I also have Enrique Reyes, Peter Cartwright, and Kirk Falk. They had a few good attributes that I saw. Dontrell Samuel was the guy they had the story about with the 40-yard dash. So I'm assuming he's supposed to be really fast. Yeah, he's got elite in everything speed related. The question is, what are some of his skills? So we know he's got horrible awareness, F. B, break sack. B, short accuracy. That's not bad. C, play action. Under pressure could be very bad. Throw on the run could be very bad. Medium accuracy, no worse than a C. So that's good. Deep accuracy, a D. This could potentially be a good project quarterback. You know, I don't think we're gonna be able to land a top quarterback. So that's why I've sort of transitioned away from drafting a quarterback. Dontrell Samuel could be a play later on. Now, not saying this in like coming in and taking Trey Lance's job, but he's a scrambling quarterback. If we need to, you know, go after a quarterback for the future, Samuel could be a guy we could work on in practice and in training camp with and all that stuff. So that's somebody to keep an eye on. At running back, there's a whole bunch of people. Chance Terrell and Mike Gibson are 1 and 2. I'm not going to be taking either of these guys. I know that. I probably won't take any of these three. The first guy I will probably look at is going to be Taquan Samuel, and you guys already know why. He's a beast. He looks like he's going to be a beast. He's 6'1", 230 pounds, and he's from my home state of Wisconsin. So what could go wrong with drafting him? Behind him, we have Dwayne Odom, Trevor Greenberry, and Justin Felix, a few more, another couple of power backs. And then Greenberry just had a couple of A's in there, which made me really put him down as a receiving back here. But my main target right now is definitely Taquan Samuel. I'm not even concerned about the rest. Like, if we have to, I could probably still go for a guy like Dwayne Odom, who's 22, roughly the same build, not as fast. And I just don't know a lot about him outside of he's got good trucking, good carrying, and good break tackle. Wide receivers. Now, if we cannot make a play for Taylor Wharton, there are a couple of other receivers that have, caught my eye. One of them being Dom Warner. He's 6'5". Of course, that's why he caught my attention. Dom Warner is one of those players. He's 6'5", 218 pounds. He's 22, and I love me a tall, big body wide receiver. Looking here, his 40-yard dash, he comes in under a 4.4 at the college pro day and just over it at the combine. It says he's got elite jumping, so that's awesome. He's first for wide receivers in that category. Skills wise, not the best skills, right? B awareness, D medium, C release, C catch and traffic, D short route. So he would take a lot of work. I would more so be drafting the physical specimen that he is over the polished player that he is. Dion Bolden is another one. He's not as tall. He's 6'3", 226, and he's still pretty fast. I mean, he's faster than Warner. 4.36, so he's third there, fifth at pro day level. Doesn't have elite jumping, but he does have great jumping. And then skills here, sort of the same stuff. C's, a couple of B's. He does have a spectacular catch and A or B awareness, so that is good. There are also some guys down here, like we know Keegan Douglas is going to be gone. Cam Richard, he's 21, he's 5'10", 190 pounds. Not the fastest receiver, but he's very quick. So that is something that is useful. And then he's got quite a few B's for a 2 to 3 projection. Ball carrier vision, catch and traffic, catching, release. There could be a few more B's in there that just aren't unlocked yet. We know he can move with the ball in his hand. He's got B ball carrier vision. I think he could be a potential target as well later on. I'd much rather have Wharton, obviously, but if that doesn't happen, then we're sort of stuck. And then looking at the tight ends again, I feel as if James Blake is going to be relatively similar to that of Dwayne Albert, but I feel like Blake's going to be a little bit faster, which makes me want to lean in his direction. I love having a fast tight end. If I could have Kyle Pitts on my team, I would do it in a heartbeat, but that's not going to happen. I have a few more guys down here, but the main source right now is Albert and Blake. Not that I would be really upset with either one of them. To me, they're pretty much 1A, 1B. I'm just confused right now on which one is A and which one is B. So I'm leaning towards Blake because of the extra speed, right? Because if you look at Albert here, he's third and second. It's not like he's that far behind, but you have to look at the rating here. The ratings on the side are what tell you the truth. He's got good acceleration, great agility, good change of direction, great speed. When you look at Blake, he has elite speed and elite agility. So that word elite being there, even though the actual numbers look similar, tells you that there should be a significant difference between the two of them when it comes to speed, and speed kills at the tight end position. And with the rest of their ratings being somewhat comparable, it has me leaning in James Blake's direction. I didn't have a lot of left tackles because, I just didn't see it being something that was very crowded. And the few that we do have access to, it looks like you're going to be gone. Wes Allen is going to go early. Left guard, these are the few that I have, but it's not something that I'm like completely sold on. Deontay Samuel is one person that I'm really interested in potentially trying to snag. He's the guy that had a bunch of ones. Yeah, look at that. Ones down the entire board almost. Insane. You always have these weird center prospects that end up being like stud linemen. It's just whether or not they're going to end up having like the size to play at guard, because then they become even that much better. But when you have guys that are like 6'2", 290, you know you're stuck playing at center. But Samuel is a guy that's big enough to play at guard. So the fact that he has that ability really intrigues me to maybe draft him. Because one, Jensen is getting older, so we know we need to get rid of him eventually. And we also have holes at the guard position, so Samuel could still play right away. It might just not be at center first. Cole Polk is going to be going early. Honestly, I could probably take him off my list. Yeah, that sucks. These guys all had comparable ratings to me. Nobody really had like a tremendous, like, holy crap, we have to draft this guy. So I'm leaning more towards if we would take a guard in this round 2 to 3 area, because Wayne and Andrews are down here. Hell, even Snell might not be a bad play. You could see the most of these B's, like a random A here and there. Wayne and Andrews seem to be the best for me. And then at right tackle, actually, I feel like the best players might be farther down the list here. Like you see A to C, B to D, A to C. But down here, you have a lot more A's prevalent. Chris Bond, he's 22, 6'7", 310 pounds. He's got A in pass block, A to C in awareness, pass block, power, impact block, and pass block finesse. But he then has C's in a lot of other areas, so he's not going to be a very balanced tackle. And the same can be said for Daniel Bowden. He has A awareness, impact blocking, and pass blocking, B lead block, and then A to C's in almost everything else. So if we need to take a lineman, we could potentially go after Bond or Bowden in the 2nd or 3rd round along with Samuel. So between those 3 guys, I mean, we have a decent, and these 2 guys too, we have a decent range of players to be able to snag in that 2nd to 3rd round area. I don't think we're gonna be able to land either of these guys. Jamie Roper is gonna go a pick before us based off the mock draft, and we know how accurate those things usually are. So if that is the case, I mean, he's gonna be gone. You know, it's just how the world works. I already said I'm not trading up for anybody but Wharton. We have, I know Perryman goes before us, so I'm going to take him off the list. I can't remember if Truman and Ellum go. No, Marcus Hood will be available, so I'm holding on to hope for him. He is a guy that could really do well, and we do need a defensive end, so this might be the play if we can't make a move for Wharton, because we need a defensive end. He would play the left side. Skill-wise, he's got A block shedding, A play rec, A tackle. The biggest hit is that injury being an F. Is it like 70 injury, or is it like something like 82 or 83 and it's just on the lower end of who's available? That's the kicker. At D tackle, there's a few guys here that would be awesome to land. I just don't know where I would want to take a D tackle. You know, it's just one of those things, man, where like, when do you decide that you need to take one? Right? And none of these guys really leap off the page. Nobody has a single A. Well, Shepard does with tackle, but I mean, that's like the worst one to have an A in. Like, where's your block shedding and power moves at? Dude, it's a C and D. That's not cool. So I don't think I'm really going to be going after many defensive tackles at all, just because nobody really seems to jump off the page. Nobody has any ratings that are over the top. I'm outside linebacker. There is a few guys on this list, but not too many. This guy I found as a UDFA. His name is Greg Matlock. I want you to see this guy's rating. So he's a 6'1", 249. He's 21. He has elite acceleration, great speed, A to C awareness, B tackle, play rec, block shed, pursuit, and hit power. Zone coverage, no worse than a C. Now, we don't need a linebacker right now, but this is the kind of prospect that we could try and snag to move inside and learn from Levante David and Devin White to take over for David once he eventually retires, because it's coming soon. He's 34. Melvin Rutledge, there's actually a few guys on this list, man. Let me tell you, there is actually some pretty decent linebackers available in this draft. I've come to find out. Let me show you just a few of them. Howie Hawkins is the first one. He's got some pretty good ratings, not the best when it comes to acceleration and speed, But he does have A, hit power, A, tackle, B, awareness, and play rec. I just don't know what his zone and man's going to be, but it doesn't look very promising. Melvin Rutledge is 22. He's around 3 to 4, so much easier to try and snag. He's got great speed and acceleration, so we know he's going to be a better athlete than Hawkins. And we also know his awareness and play rec is A already. B, man, C, zone, B, hit power. That jumps off the page to me for a mid-round prospect. Isaiah Shepard is a day 3 prospect that I actually have really high regard for, and I'll show you why. He's got elite speed and great acceleration, elite agility, and then he's got A zone, B man, B hit power, C play rec, and no worse than C for awareness, C tackle. So some of the more basic linebacker skills need to be fine-tuned, but we know he's coming in and he can play coverage like no other. A zone, B man, and he's a day 3 prospect. That's why I have him rated above a lot of these other guys. He's a day 3. I have him over 3 or 4 linebackers that are around 3 to 4 because of that. And then we get to Anthony Moore. Now, Moore is very similar to Shepard. The big difference is this guy's only 21. But he's got elite speed and great acceleration. So the same ratings as Shepard at middle linebacker. And then look at this guy's skills. A zone, A pursuit, A to C in man, A to C in awareness, A to C in tackle. We don't know what his injury is at. His hit power is a C, his stamina is a C. So there is a mixed bag here. But he looks like he's going to be able to cover from day 1, and he's only 21 years old. It seems like such a minor difference between 23 and 21, but if you have done Madden franchise and have worked on building players, that extra 2 years is so critical to how good a player can be. And even look in the NFL, when you see a guy coming in at 24 years old, 23, 24, a lot of the times it's the players that come in way early, like they come out, they're 20 going on 21. Those are the guys that within the 2 or 3 years, they are already light years ahead of the guys because they are getting that extra time in the NFL. So I really key in on the age for that reason. The beauty of this is all of these linebackers, I don't even have to try and take them before round 3 unless I'm going Howie Hawkins, but I don't think I'm going to do that because Rutledge, Shepard, Hobbs, Elliott, Anthony Moore, all of these guys are better off getting taken later, and they seem to be better prospects overall. Okay, so Sprinkle is the only one I have left on the board here at this point. I think he stays until after our pick. There isn't a whole lot of guys that are really like just super good on the rest of this list, and once we get past Mac, there's nobody until rounds 3 to 4. But Mac here, he's 21 years old. He's got solid speed, great acceleration, and with the signing of Isaiah Rodgers, I really just don't see the round 1 to 2 area being an area of need for corner. So we'll probably be looking at more of an approach for like day 3 even. And we have a few options. Delvin Branch, Matt Taylor looks to be a little bit better. He's got B zone coverage and A press, so that's going to come in handy. Darius Brown, this is a guy that I could potentially see being a safety. He's 6'3", 202. He doesn't have the best speed, and he doesn't have the best man, but we know he's got B zone. So this could be a really good, and he's got B tackle. So all of the things that you should need to play free safety, he has. So that's an option for us as well on day 3, is go after Darius Brown as a safety, and then, you know, sort of just a guy to build up behind Ryan Neal. And then for safeties, I really didn't do a whole lot of searching at safeties, and honestly, I don't think we're really going to need to take one because Ryan Neal finally came to his senses and agreed to sign with us. So I'm just gonna, I mean, we have him here, and I'll pick from a couple of these lists, but I don't have any good read on any of these guys. And the ones I do have a decent read on, like Mike Goodwin, he's got C zone coverage. You know, so like it's just it's not looking the best for this safety class. All right, so we are finally in the draft, and I think what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna start simming. And if Wharton in fact gets to 12, I'm definitely going to try to make a play to move up now that we know he's a top 5 talent. I mean, that would just make our wide receiver room phenomenal for Trey Lance going forward. And if Trey Lance is going to succeed, he's going to need a receiver room to do it. So let's go ahead. Let's see what plays out here. So first pick, it's Lonnie Tate going to Chicago. No surprise there so far. Danny Mason going to the Giants. Joseph McCoy to the Broncos. Colin Good going to the Steelers. There goes Jamario Weathersby to the Commanders. Wyatt Callan to the Titans. So far it's playing out exactly how the mock draft said it would, so I'm not surprised by that. You guys shouldn't be at this point either. Quandre Martin to the Colts. Spencer Metcalf to the Jaguars. Zeke Mack to the Texans. And Dalton Isaac to the Cardinals. So Wharton has made it here. Every pick has been 100% accurate from the mock draft. So that tells me if we're going to land Wharton, we have to make a trade with the Patriots. Let's go and see if we can make something happen with a trade. Okay, so I just wanted to put a feeler out there to see how far we are off right now. If I was to give him a first rounder this year and a second next year, we're this close to a trade, which means to tell me this is very doable. Now, do I want to give up a second round pick? No, I don't like giving up second round picks. I don't like giving up any picks. You guys have watched my franchises. You know I like being able to just draft a bunch of players, but it's also not all the time that we need a receiver. I love receivers, and we know there's a guy that's top 5 talent just sitting there at pick 12. So, all right, this is like the last thing that I can think of that I'm going to offer them. It's first this year and a third this year, a second next year, and a fourth 2026. Straight up just for pick 12. We're giving up a lot here, but I'm okay with it if we're getting Wharton and we know he's top 5 talent. Oh my God, that is too close for me not to try again. That is too close for me not to try one more thing. I mean, I'm just gonna throw in like a filler here. Like, let me just throw in like a 7th round pick or something. You know? That should move the needle. It did. Holy cow. Okay. All right. We get the trade. It's our first and third this year, our second next year, and our 4th and 7th in 2026. Was it a lot? Yes, it was. But we're going to get a chance to draft Taylor Wharton, and hopefully it doesn't bite me in the ass. Oh, man. I'm going to laugh my ass off if this guy ends up being like a horrible player or something. But here we go. We make it up to pick 12. The player I had as number 2 on my board, who we know is top 5 talent, 21 years old, could help shape the future for our offense if he ends up being what I hope he is. All right, so we know he's hidden dev. We know that at least. He's 92 speed, 91 jumping, 91 change of direction, 94 agility, and 90 acceleration. We'll see after the draft if it was worth this move. I'm going to go ahead and sim to our next pick. We're here at our 2nd round pick. The only player that left that I was sad to see go was Keontae Samuel. He went like 3 picks ago to the Philadelphia Eagles. So that was a little upsetting. I didn't think he was going to go that high, you know, but you know, I guess that's the way the draft works sometimes. So we're sitting here. I'm really considering trading down at this point because of the trade we just made. And I found a trade here that would actually make a lot of sense. The Falcons pick in like 5 picks. We're at pick 53 right now. If we move down with the Falcons, we can pick up a 6th this year and a 7th next year, which I'm okay with because there's actually a few players that I found on day 3 and even a couple of undrafted guys that I'm interested in that I would really like to bring onto the team. So I'm not against this move in the slightest. And I think it might be the play just to try and get some draft picks back. You know, we lost a few of them. And I just don't see anybody that's that vital as right this second that I need to take right now. That would mean that I can't make this move. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. All right, so now we're picking at 58th instead of 53. So we have a few teams ahead of us. Let's see who goes. Ari Rhodes, a quarterback. We didn't want one of those. Didn't want Ben Webb. Oh, Jason Saxon. I forgot he was still on the board. Well, I mean, we're sort of good right now at corner, so I'm not too upset about that. Cam Richard, we already got our receiver. And Sean Parrish, another corner. So we have picks available to us. We pick next, round 3, pick 16. I just want to take a look and see what's available. If there's anything that's a very minor drop down, I would consider it again. Right now we're at pick 58, remember that. Everything seems to be for the future. Nothing for current. That's crazy. Yeah, nothing for current. Unless we're dropping away to the end of the third, and I'm not going to do that. So, okay. Looks like we are standing here, and we're going to make a selection. So let's see who is available. My board is telling me that Taquan Samuel is the next player that I should be taking. I'm just not sure in the grand scheme of things if that is the smart choice. I'm finding it very strange that Alex Kellum is way down here, almost at the end of the second, with a round 1 projection. And I mean, it looks pretty obvious why. C's and an F. So we're not going to touch him. We don't need a receiver, so I'm going to go all the way past. Moore is the first one because of the age and the speed factor that I'm trying to snag. Samuel isn't as much of a need, but I'm also a little concerned because he is the top running back take right now, whereas at linebacker there is 2 people ahead of Anthony Moore at outside, and there's a whole slew of linebackers that I've already looked at in the middle that I'm okay with. And linebacker, well, neither one of these is a serious need right now, but I feel like there's more options at linebacker. With him being the top running back, if anybody takes a running back, chance of him not going is slim to none. Because while he's not a receiving back or an elusive back, he's got really good, I mean, he's the only guy left before day 3. So unless nobody wants to take somebody before the 4th round, he's not going to be here, you know? Man, I might have to make another trade too if I want to secure these guys that I want. All right. So I've been doing some thinking about this next series because we have 3 or 4 players that I really would like to get. Well, actually more like 5 or 6, all in the next, 2 rounds, and we don't have a lot of picks for it. So what I'm going to do is this one here is we are going to make a selection, and then I think once we get to the 3rd round, I'm going to try and see if I can trade for another 3rd round pick. I don't want to use too much, so I really do think I'm going to try to move Tryon Shoyinka to a team to get a 3rd round selection, because I feel like he's soured me a little bit at this point. I want to see what Jermaine Johnson can do, and we've already declined his 5th-year option. So, I mean, it's a contract year for him. So let's make this selection here. Who do I think is going to be the bigger target to hit? I think it's Anthony Moore. I know he's round 3 to 4 projection, but we have to try and play within our means right now. Okay, we have 3 or 4 round 3 to 4 projection guys that we feel are good, and he is one of them. He's 21. He's exactly what we need in a middle linebacker. If this guy was listed as a middle linebacker, I guarantee you he's higher projected, because this is a mixed bag, right? You have your 4-3 backers on the outside and your 3-4 edge rushing backers. I just feel like if he is in the middle, he might be a much more sought after player, but he's going to play in the middle for us. So I'm going to take Anthony Moore here at the back end of the 2nd, and hopefully it works out for us. Oh, and it does. Hidden development, 87 speed, 89 acceleration, 89 agility, even has 75 strength, 76 change of direction. All right, now we're going to start our descend towards the 3rd round. Marcus Smith goes, oh, there goes Alex Kellum. I'm interested to see if he ends up being good or not, so we'll have to remember him for later. Tim Cleary, one of the wide receivers, goes. There goes one of the linebackers, Timothy Fairley. That could have been Anthony Moore if I don't take him. Jeff Scruggs. All right, so this sort of fell just too perfect. Okay, this is the Lions 3rd round pick, which is 1 pick before us. We're pick 80. Their number one need is an outside linebacker. They run a 3-4. Well, they run more of a mixture of the two, but their number one need is an outside linebacker. We have one. I'm going to try and see if I can get this done. And they take it straight up. Oh, wow. That is a big move. Hey, look, if you're a Bucs fan and you think Tryon Shoyinka is going to do well, he might. All right. But here in Madden, he had a down year for us. Didn't make much noise for us in the games. Injured on and off. 75 overall, not getting much better. We have a guy in Jermaine Johnson who's on the same level as him that we saw make plays last year. I'm excited for it. We just got a 3rd round pick, and hopefully we can turn that 3rd round pick into one of these players that we really want. So now we just have to see if the players last until our next picks. So what we're aiming for right now is one of our 2 tight ends between Albert and Blake, and Taquan Samuel to be there. That's what I'm looking forward to right now. So Beasley goes, Caleb Christie, another linebacker. I think it was a good move that we went Anthony Moore first. I've seen a few of them go off the board here. Another receiver. There goes one of the guards. Okay. Another linebacker. Receiver. Safety. One of the corners went. Tackle. One more pick. Another linebacker. Now we have 2 back-to-back picks. We're going to take Taquan Samuel. He's at the top of my favorites list right now. And let's see. Hidden development. 91 speed for a power back. 89 acceleration. 80 change of direction. 80 strength and 84 agility. Oh, wow. Okay, that is a good draft pick right there at running back. That is going to give us a huge 1-2 combo between Rachaad White and Taquan Samuel. I'm excited. I am excited to see what that'll bring us. One of the areas that we know we've needed is a tight end. Otton just did not perform what we anticipated him to perform. We have Dwayne Albert and James Blake, 2 guys that we have looked at. I'm going to go through them one more time, and we're just going to see who makes more sense. So both of them are 22. Both of them are 6'6". Both of them are 252. They are literally the same build of a player. For the physicals, we know that Albert has great speed and good acceleration and great agility. James Blake has elite speed, solid acceleration, and elite agility. So 2 ups and a down. Looking at the attributes. A awareness, A carrying, A catching traffic, A short route. And then for James Blake, we don't know his carrying like we do for Albert, but we know he's got A awareness, A short route, and A catching traffic, the same as Albert. But we also know he has B catching, B medium route, and C deep route. And then for Albert, we already know he's got A short route. They have the same there. They have the same medium route B, and we know that Albert is going to have better deep route. At the very minimum, 1 letter better. AB. Guys, these players are like neck and neck. Like, this is insane how similar they are. Blake is on the same level in almost everything except some run blocking, and it looks like spectacular catch is going to be not as good as it is for Dwayne Albert. And, you know, I see that there is differences, right? We know that James Blake isn't going to be as great with spectacular catch, and his deep route is going to be not up to par with Dwayne Albert. But everything else, how many times are we looking for a deep route with a tight end? 9 times out of 10, it's medium to short. I just can't get over the fact that he has got elite speed and agility. I think that is such a potential mismatch nightmare for what we're looking to do against these defenses. Like, having elite speed and agility at the tight end position at 6'6". I mean, And I'm not saying that Albert has bad speed, right? We know it's not horrible. We just know it's not elite. And you see that elite word, it's hard to pass up on it, man. It really is. Really is. And we know almost everything else is almost the same, except a run block finesse and spectacular catch are really the two that stick out the most. Injury is on par, short route awareness, catching traffic, all of that is on par. Run blocking is not, but I mean, I'm not too upset about run blocking. I'm not too upset about a lot of these things. I just know that elite speed doesn't happen very often in tight ends. I just can't pass that up, man. I can't. Not when everything else is so close to being similar. I can't pass it up because somebody might have better run blocking. What am I more than likely to get when it comes to upgrades? Am I going to get run block finesse and spectacular catch upgrades, or am I going to get speed upgrades? How rare are speed upgrades? So when a player is this close, I have to take the speed. I have to. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take James Blake over Dwayne Albert. Hopefully this doesn't bite me in the ass. It's too late. It's happening. James Blake it is. And look at that. 88 speed, 86 acceleration, 87 agility. Hidden development. 82 change of direction. We're definitely going to look at Dwayne Albert because I have to see what he is after this. All right, so we are back on the board here, end of the 4th round. Delvin Branch just went off the board. He was somebody that was on my favorites list, but the 49ers just poached him right before us. So this is what is left on our list. Also, almost all of those linebackers were taken in between those last few picks. So there was a lot of movement going on, and now we're down to like pretty much our day 3 guys. One of the guys that I had on my list farther down was Paul Bronson, a corner. He's 5'11", 196, and he made it because he's got great speed and elite acceleration, but he also had some halfway decent ones, and I mean this based off of the rest of the class. It was a very bad class for corners if you weren't getting one of like the top 3 or 4 guys, but he also has some kick return ability potentially. And this would be, of course, a player that we have to build up, right? This isn't somebody that we're going to be able to use right away. But with it being, you know, the 4th round here, end of the 4th, I don't have an issue with taking a chance on him here. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to take Paul Bronson here. All right. And that is some really good, great speed. 93, 94 excel. He's got hidden dev. We haven't missed on a hidden dev or on a development player yet. Every one of our players has been hidden development. This has been a great draft so far. And one of the other players that I was trying to take like this round or next round was Jerome Ross, who now just went to the Giants. Great. I love it. This is so awesome. So it appears that a lot of these day 3 guys, I'm just not sure of what exactly they fall on the day 3 spectrum. It's a very broad spectrum between 4th round and 7th round, and I'm guessing wrong right now. I'm looking here at my favorites list to see what is all still out there. We're good on wide receivers. We have a linebacker, so I don't think we need to take another linebacker. We just took a corner, so I'm not too concerned with taking one of those. Duncan Coleman. Okay, so one thing we have not hit on yet is an edge rusher. There's 2 that are still on my list. There's Duncan Coleman and there's Derek Green. Now Green is a undrafted guy. He's one of the few that I've actually found that look promising. And I mean, really, there's 2 things that have him on my list, and that is the fact that he's undrafted, but he has A, power move, and B, block shedding. And he also has B, tackle, which is good too. He's got good injury. He can't cover, which I get, I understand, and everything else might end up sucking. But for being an undrafted guy, and hell, even just for a 5th round pick with how horrible the outside linebacker class was this year, this might not be a bad move. I want to see what Coleman has, because Coleman is well, he's speed rusher instead of power rusher, but he's day 3. So let's see what he has. So he has D power moves. He's got A injury, B awareness, and he has A to C finesse moves. So we don't know if it's going to be an A or well, let's see. We know that the other guy's got A power. We just don't know what Coleman is going to have for his finesse moves. We know his power moves are a D. We don't know what his block shedding is quite yet. And he also can cover well as well. So that's one thing that he could potentially have decent zone coverage. Derek Green, he's 21, so he's 1 year younger. He's got great, decent, marginal, solid, marginal good. So he is not going to be an athlete in the slightest. But he's 6'5", 266. What is stopping me from actually dropping him down on the line? And being a power rusher, that would actually be a scheme fit for us if I'm not mistaken. As a D end in our system, not an outside linebacker. We need a defensive lineman too. I can't put Coleman there though, because Coleman is just too small, 6'2", 245. There isn't much left for defensive tackles either. What does Timmy Baker look like? 22, 6'6", 308. I mean, he could play outside, even though he's a little bit bigger. Impact blocking is D, injury B, tackle B, power moves D, finesse. Okay, so he may have decent block shedding, but that's about it. So if we're going off of these 3 guys, these are the last guys for positions we haven't really hit yet. If I could get 2 of them, that would be, in my opinion, that would be ideal. I'm just not sure if they'll all be there by the end of the 6th. I mean, once you get to this spot, man, anybody can go. Anybody could go. Even the fullbacks, like they'll be listed as undrafted projection, all of them always, but they'll still get picked in the 4th round because these teams they'll sort of know, you know what I mean? So I think what I should do is Timmy Baker is the last defensive lineman, true defensive lineman that is available here. I think I want to try to take him and see what he can give us. And then I might have to try and maybe just exchange our 6th and 7th for like one more 5th or something like that to try and get one of these 2. Wow. Okay. Hidden development. Have we missed a hidden development yet? Wow. 92 strength. Speed is horrendous, but acceleration is good at 80. 92 strength. That is a good number to have coming out. That could be a sleeper pick right there. Yeah, some of his stuff is not good, but you find a guy this late in the draft that's got an A grade and a couple of B grades in key areas. I don't care if it's undrafted or 1st round or 4th round. Like, these are the kind of players you need to try to bring in. All right, so the Bills bit on my offer. I gave them just our last 2 picks today. They gave us their last pick of the 5th round for this draft. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take Derek Green. Oh my God. I think this might be one of the best drafts I've ever had. At least in terms of like how many hidden developments I've gotten. And his speed sucks. 77 speed. 88 acceleration though. I feel like this guy could play on the line, man. I'm gonna put him down on the line. All right, guys, here is the first draft of the Buccaneers franchise. And it looks like it went rather well, man. Taylor Wharton is an 80 overall. He was well worth that top 5 pick. 92 speed, 90 excel, 81 in catching traffic, and short route running. 90 spectacular catch coming out, 91 jumping. This guy has got 91 change of direction, 87 ball carrier vision, 82 juking. This is like a Swiss Army knife at wide receiver right now that we got. That's the kind of player you trade up for. And then our second pick was Anthony Moore, the outside linebacker. He ends up only being a 73, but he still has that hidden dev. He ends pass coverage, which means he's going to fit our system perfectly on the inside. And it's perfect to sort of grow behind Levante David. Now, I was hoping to be a little bit better, but it's not too bad. 87 speed, 90 excel, 77 tackle, 83 pursuit, 78 awareness. Zone is already a 73, so I'm happy with that pick, even though he's only a 73. Hey man, Taquan Samuel is a 75. I'm not even shocked. I'm not even shocked. It is almost too easy to figure out where the fancy power back is. in these Madden draft classes. And this guy is sort of a one-all be-all. He's got 82 break tackle, 90 carrying, 83 ball carrier vision, 81 trucking, 83 stiff arm, 81 juke. So this guy is sort of a Swiss Army knife himself. And then we have James Blake, 73 overall hidden development. I think I'm going to have him start right away, even though Otten is like 2 overalls better than him. 88 speed, 73 awareness, 86 excel, 81 catching. That's a good number to have. 77 catch in traffic, 76 spectacular catch, 78 carrying. That's not bad. 76 ball carrier vision, 88 injury. Trucking is a 79. Not bad at all. Then Paul Bronson is a 72. That is a great find. 93 speed, 94 excel, 74 man, only 63 zone. So that is going to be difficult to overcome, but I think we can do it. 69 play recognition. He's not somebody that has to start right away for us. We'll have time to get up like his awareness and his play rec and coverage. I'm not too concerned there. Timmy Baker, he was a 69 overall. That's still not a bad overall, man. Not at that point in the draft. 69 block shedding and 66 power moves, but 92 strength, 77 tackle, 80 acceleration. I'm looking forward to working with him. Oh my god, his injuries in 94. Then Derek Green, 68 overall. We know he's hidden dev. I'm definitely going to put him down on the line at defensive end, and let's just see what he's got. 78 power move, 72 block shedding. Play rec needs some serious help. Awareness isn't too bad at 69. Strength 79. Injury 91. Awesome to see. Toughness is a little low, but he might be a decent defensive end for us, man. And I don't think it's going to be too difficult for him. And that is our draft class. Now it's time for us to go and see what the rest of the NFL had and see who we messed up on. All right, so Lonnie Tate was an 82 overall. Wow. He is 23, but he's already starting off at an 82, so it sort of defeats the purpose of being upset about age. 96 speed, 94 acceleration, 81 for man, 82 for zone. That is insane. His injuries of 47? I didn't even know that was possible, guys. That must be new this year. I've never seen that before. Have you guys seen that before? 47 injury. Dang. That is really unfortunate. And Danny Mason followed him up. He's a 77. Not bad at all. We made the better choice at receiver, though, that's for sure. And he's himself very good attributes. Not as good as Wharton, of course. Injury much better there at 90. Man, I feel so bad for the Bears and Lonnie Tate. They just cannot win. Joseph McCoy ended up being a 74. I'm assuming he's hidden development. Yeah, of course, he's hidden development. He won't be a bad quarterback. I think he could probably even take over for Russell Wilson already. Colin Good was a 76. Weathersby is 73. Is he hidden dev? Yep. All right, he's hidden dev as well. 97 throw power. Jordan Williams is 75. Spencer Metcalf was an 81. Wow, so he was right behind Lonnie Tate. He was the second, he's got to be like the second best player in the draft. His injury is an 89, so he actually might end up being the best corner or best player out of this draft. All right, so I'm just going to start going through. Isaac only ended up being a 73 overall. I thought he was going to be much higher than that. I got to stop assuming that the top outside linebacker is going to be good, because even going back to my Texans franchise, guys, every time I think that one of the outside linebackers as a power rusher is going to be good, they end up being like a 71 overall, or in this case, a 73. And then Deion Bolden and Dom Warner, those are the other two receivers I was looking at after Wharton. Then they were way worse, 72 and 71. Romeo Singleton, another corner, as 77 overall. So there was some good corners at the top of this draft. We just did not go for them. This his injury. Okay. I'm going to have to keep an eye on that now. So now we know F injury can literally mean like you don't have health. Golly, that is crazy. Oh, wow. Another one. Quincy Sprinkle. 78 overall corner taken at the back end of the first round. He's very good as well. Not bad. So it just seems to be, what's his name? Lonnie Tate here that has the worst injury in the world. Then here in the second round, oh, Mike Goodwin, there was a good safety. Oh, I mean, not the best, but definitely not bad. Ryan Hastings, Howie Hawkins. So Hawkins was a 74, so that's a steal for the Seahawks in the second round. Jeff Campbell, the free safety, is a 76. That's a good steal for the Colts. Sidney Mack, there was some good corners, man. I mean, I guess it worked in our favor because we got Isaiah Rodgers, so we didn't have to go corner early on, and it allowed us to get the guys we got. So I'm happy in that respect. Juan Cousins was a 75. Jason Saxon was a 75. Cam Richard, a 76. Is the first normal player I've seen for development. Wow, 91 kick return. That's a hell of a steal for the Bengals there. This is where all those linebackers started going up. Like Caleb Christie, he was one of those on my list. He was a 74 overall. Was he hidden dev as well? He was. Hidden development. E7 speed, 88 excel. I just want to see some of these linebackers I was looking at. Jamar Harper, that was one. 72. Oh, we have to see what. Oh, yep, Jermichael McAllister was there. He was hidden development as well, but I didn't want to take him because he wasn't at least 6'4", guys. That sounds crazy to think about, but honestly, well, hey, I'm actually really happy because Blake is much faster than him, so I'm not upset at that. There was Dwayne Albert. He was a 72, so he was like right there with Blake. A little bit slower, like I anticipated, but everything else sort of matching up. The only stark difference is Blake had 81 catching, and he has 78. So really not too much of a difference, really. Some of his secondaries, I think, are worse, because I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure Blake had 79 for trucking and carrying, and he had like 77 ball carrier vision or something along those lines. So in terms of most ratings, they were on par, but it looks like that Blake was just a little bit better. Melvin Rutledge was a linebacker that I was looking at, and he was hidden development 76 overall. Wow, I missed the mark on him. It really did. And then Chris Woodley was a 75. He's normal dev, but it just almost just as fast. His zone is horrendous. Jerome Bryles, he was also a 73. He's hidden development. Not as fast, and zone is really bad. Isaiah Shepard, that was another linebacker that I was looking at. He's a 73. And oh my god, 90 speed, 90 acceleration. That is nuts. All right, guys, well, that is going to finish the offseason. We ended up getting a lot done this year. This was a great first step into building this team into something awesome. And here is a look at the team going into our first season. So Wharton is going to be our wide receiver 2/slot guy, while Palmer stays outside. I feel like he was just best suited there. We have Taquan Samuel in behind Rachaad White. Our line hasn't changed since preseason. I have a few guys in here that I signed in free agency just to fill it out. James Blake will get an opportunity to take the starting job from Cade Otton, but just to start off, we're just leaving it as it was. And then on the defensive side of the ball, right now, we have a great linebacking core, I think. We have Luvu, David, White. We have more in behind them. Jermaine Johnson, who showed flashes last year. Hansi back and healthy. Vea in the middle. Logan Hall or Derek Green. I'm going to let Derek Green go for the job, you know. I mean, we didn't see much out of Hall. If Green can show something, then more power to him. And then our corners are stacked now. We have Dean and Davis. Then we have Rogers and Shelley. And then even behind him, we have Bronson to fill that out as well. So this team looks a lot different after one season. And a lot of it's going to come down to how do these rookies look in preseason. I feel like I might actually have to do preseason this year because of all the new faces. Let me know down below if you guys want to see the preseason games, or if you want me to just do it on my own time and then bring you guys in week 1 and explain what happened. It's up to you guys. It doesn't make a difference to me. So let me know that down below. As for this video, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for coming by and checking out our first off season. Before you head out, consider hitting that like button if you like what you saw, subscribing if you have not already, and turning on that bell notification so you know when this stuff goes out. And I will see you guys next time.